There, I waited for you. Are you happy?
All right, thank you.
No, I had to do a lot of the clicky. And I should enunciate words properly. That's usually good broadcasting right there. This is Papa's Football Podcast. I'm John Papa Giorgio, joined by Howard Flood. We recap the week that was, we talk about the week that will be, and we invite a fan, usually a friend of ours. In fact, I mean, we're not a draw, so it's always a friend of ours. We're not going to be like, hey, Sonny Jurgensen, would you care to join our show and recap what it was to go in at halftime and smoke a cigarette or two?
At this point, I would take Brandon Merriweather, man. It's like, for real? You're on an active roster? That's awesome, man.
You're a horrible, maiming human being. And your hair sucks shit.
Dude, come on. That's my boy. It's the U.
Oh, God.
The U.
Fuck the U. That's what I said.
Oh, man.
I actually don't care one way or the other about college. My heart was already broken coming into the Sunday games. I watched that Thursday night shellacking that the Redskins took. All my dreams are dead, Howard. My dreams are dead.
Don't put too much stock into a Thursday night game. I've been looking at the way that these have been scheduled this season, and I think it's really unfair to first-year coaches to have them try to install a new system on a short week against veteran coaches. It's just, you look at Eli and Tom Coughlin. They have so many games together, they can just go back and pull up an old game plan.
Oh, they're like an old married couple. Like, they just look at each other across the room, nothing is said, and then one gets up and just cleans the dishes.
I mean, how many games has Kirk Cousins played with Gruden here? 2, 3?
2? No, this would have been like the second one that he was starting for Gruden. He came in, during the
he didn't start that game.
Yeah, exactly. He came in with
RG3's.
Jacksonville for the majority of that, so that was RG3's game plan, and then last week, they looked pretty decent in defeat against the Eagles, and then this week,
they basically had to recycle a game plan that the Giants were very ready for. Oh, were they ready for it?
Yeah. It's not just that. I've heard that Cousins in general, look, for 1 week, 2 weeks, everyone blew him, and he was the pocket passer that was going to be so great in Gruden's system, and then he fucks up 1 week, and we hear about he stares down his receivers. I think that's what really gets me so mad about sports radio in general.
Right.
They find like one catchphrase and fucking repeat it over and over. Same with sports announcers. If I hear goddamn, it was a bang bang play, he needs to make a football move, bang bang play. If I hear either of those fucking phrases one more time out of an announcer's mouth, holy shit. The only bang bang I want to hear is out of the muzzle of Lee Harvey Oswald's rifle. Fuck, I hate those guys. It drives me batshit. But yeah, for 2 weeks, I hear nothing but positives about Kirk Cousins. And then all of a sudden, he stares down his receivers like he's a fucking psychopathic killer, just jacking his prick, looking at his receiver for 45 seconds before he finally releases or something. I don't get it. So the guy goes from hot as hell to complete dog shit. Like, all your hopes and dreams as a Skins fan go down the toilet. Suddenly, it's like you cheated on your wife, Robert Griffin, with what you thought was going to be the hot new thing. The hot new thing gives you herpes and dumps you. And suddenly you're like, oh, please, RG baby, take me back. I didn't mean none of it.
I mean, listen, you guys are going up against the Seahawks this week.
At least we're hosting. For fuck's sake, at least we're hosting.
No, you guys are going to get so destroyed. It's going to be, I predict, just like that Eagles game when Vic and Andy Reid dropped 35 on you in the first quarter.
They were up 74 points. Your memory's wrong. It's 74 points in the first 8 minutes. I remember that game. I remember having a lot of Monday night left.
Yeah, no, that's going to happen again this week. So I
say it, except like, even as much as I hate Seattle and just want to criticize them, period, for the hell of it, their offense is like, okay. It's nothing amazing.
The Redskins defense is horrible. Absolutely horrible. And D'Angelo Hall is gone for the season.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, their secondary's dog shit. And now
went from bad to worse.
Yeah. The front seven isn't really getting pressure. So now the secondary is called into question. So it'll be bad. It'll be bad.
And the real problem.
And for the fans on the field, by the way, there's expired beer being served at FedEx. I just had to get that out there. You didn't hear this story?
No.
Okay, during the Thursday night Giants Skins game, people started tweeting photos of them holding World Cup edition Budweisers, if I recall the brand.
Oh, man.
And they're like, the World Cup was a while ago, was it? And then they looked at the little barcode at the bottom, which has like a Peeps Just Born date or whatever the hell on it. And you can look that up. And it was like, you should not be drinking this beer at this point.
I mean, it's not going to get you sick. I've had like year-old 18-month-old Pabst Blue Ribbon before.
Isn't
It's
that how they
thing.
preserved water in ye olden times? Didn't they turn it into beer? That was the point of it.
It's not going to kill you. It tastes kind of bad. And it's already bad enough they charge you $9 for a can of beer.
Well, let's be real. It's an American beer. If you don't think it's 25% formaldehyde, you're a fucking moron. That thing is built to last through the apocalypse. But yeah, it was wow, that was very, very tough to watch. I tuned out. That was kind of the what is it, the leitmotif? Is that the word I'm looking for? I feel like I'm channeling my inner dumb athlete. I'm just reaching for a big word. And
all right. I'm not sure what you're getting at here.
It was just unwatchable games almost the whole goddamn weekend.
Yeah, Thursdays are pretty uniformly, I feel, unwatchable.
The Skins were punched out early. Didn't care to watch.
I was really hoping for some good Sunday football, and
you didn't get it. I don't think in the
did.
DC market, we had Green Bay were they hosting the Bears or were they playing at Soldier Field?
That was a good game. That was the best game I saw this weekend.
It was good for a half.
3 quarters. I think the third quarter I turned it off after that because I was really disappointed in the way that the Bears were just not able to find the end zone despite burning up yards against that Green Bay defense. The turnovers and like the failure.
Defense.
Yeah. They were not a good defense, and the Bears really blew it.
So I tapped out on that. And then I flipped over to the Ravens-Panthers game, thinking maybe I'll have something here because the whole storyline, Steve Smith playing his old team.
Which is it was a great return for Steve Smith. I'm really rooting for him and the Ravens to do well this year.
Revenge is great when it's at a clutch moment or you don't really expect it to happen, and then it eventually does.
No, I like that he just burned them early, and then they piled it on. I like that. It's not fun for people to watch. Like, it was like after the score hits 28-10 or whatever. So.
It was like the rematch between Joe Louis and Max Schmeling, if I'm going for sports references that all of us will know. You don't know this? Max Schmeling. He was like the Nazi Superman boxer. He was a kraut, big white dude. Joe Louis, the brown bomber. And they're not calling him that because he's got a tan. And the first match between them, the kraut beats up our black Joe Louis. And everyone's like, Hitler lost his mind. Hitler was like, fuck yeah, Nazi design superior. And then there was a rematch. And I mean, Joe Louis knocks Max Schmeling's rectum out of his mouth 18 seconds into the fight. It was fucking insane. It made Tyson Spinks look like a 5-hour opera. It was fast. So that's all I'm saying. That, as funny as it is, to quote that years later, because I'm weird and read Wikipedia and know that, it would have been better if it was a hard-fought match, don't you think? And same with the Ravens game. I would have liked it if, it was close, and then Steve Smith, at the end, catches his fucking dagger and beats his old team. That's awesome. Instead, he was just running roughshod on him.
I mean, here's my problem with the weekend of football, and part of that is encompassed in the way Carolina's playing. Every team is so dramatically flawed at the end of September, it seems, in the NFC, other than Seattle. And, really, Seattle.
Why are you shitting on the Cards?
And Arizona.
The one unbeaten,
are the only teams that made it through September and didn't look like dog shit. I mean, everybody else, really, to me, Philadelphia is a great example of a team that, one, doesn't have a defense, and then, two, yesterday, they ended up not having an offensive touchdown. This juggernaut of an offense couldn't score against the 49ers defense.
I mean, what the fuck were you expecting? Every game of theirs, they were down by what? 17-10. And then they're digging out. It's the wheels come off that shit eventually. It's a great narrative and everyone loves the record, but you can never look at that and feel safe. You can never look at that and think, wow, we are just going to get some gimme wins this year. They've had to gut it out against everyone. They were the closest game for the not the Panthers, the Jaguars, all goddamn year so far.
Yeah.
What does that say, man?
No, it's disappointing to just go through the league. And, I mean, you look at Dallas in the same division. They're looking much better on offense now.
Yeah. Oh, and that was a real treat Sunday night. So we have, the one semi-watchable game, 49ers-Eagles. But, what was the final score, 27-21 or some shit?
It was 26-21.
26-21. It wasn't nearly that close, though.
The Eagles were painful to watch with the ball. Yeah, absolutely painful.
I'll tell you what, man. I usually don't tap out on football games, and especially I don't because we do the show, and I want to be able to talk about the games in depth. It wasn't necessary. I tapped out. I watched Edge of Tomorrow. You know what the real story from Sunday was? Why haven't I wanted to fuck Emily Blunt for a longer time? That is a good-looking woman. Oh, the lips on that bitch. She is nice. Edge of Tomorrow, by the way, very watchable.
Yeah, I mean, it's the worst part of the weekend is that the best story to me was probably Teddy Bridgewater winning his first start.
Yeah, but in true Vikings fashion, now he's got the gimp ankle or some shit.
That was the complaint against him coming into the draft, was that he seemed like he was going to be prone to injury based on his size. He was a little too light to play in the NFL.
Promising black quarterback who's going to get injured a lot. Enjoy how that pans out for you, Vikings. As a Redskins fan, I have no idea.
Well, to be fair to them, they didn't trade an entire draft in order to get him. So
yeah. Oh my God. Just no. I don't even like to remember that happened.
No, it's it's just tough when I look at the NFC picture. And I ask myself, who can really beat Seattle in the NFC? And I mean, it's slim pickings. Most of the teams that you would think are supposed to compete in the playoffs, they just have offenses that will not perform well against Seattle's defense, and they don't have a defense that could stop.
Defense, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Bears and the Packers cannot stop anyone on defense. Neither can the Eagles, as the same story can be told for the Falcons and seemingly the Saints. Nobody can stop anyone. So to me, it's just like you can look at the Seattle offense as not being the stronger counterpart of the two sides of the ball on that Seahawks team.
Yeah, but it's perfectly serviceable.
They can whoop all those teams. Those defenses are terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. And their offenses cannot handle the best defense in the league. So who's really going to come out of the NFC other than Seattle? The Cardinals are really the best looking team, right?
Well, the Cards defense, say what you will, I don't know if they have as good a secondary as Seattle, but would people not agree that the front seven's better?
They got a pretty good secondary, man.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They got a good secondary.
I'll be honest, I've been dying to watch them all fucking year. I think I saw, were they like the first Monday night, or were they one of the teams in that double header? Like, you know how the first Monday night game, you get like a late, usually it's like, you're always watching the fucking Chargers against the Raiders. 9 times out of 10, start of the season, that second Monday night game is fucking Chargers and Raiders, maybe Chargers and Chiefs. But usually they like to shit on you with that one.
If you can get this game, the Cardinals are playing the Broncos in Denver this week. That's going to be a worthwhile game.
Yeah.
I hope. That better be good. Just even the Broncos have not played up to par with last season. They're getting used to...
The mark they set last season was pretty goddamn high.
But it looks like preseason to me, the way that Peyton is trying to figure out who his new receiving core is. Like, Wes Welker was suspended for a couple games. Eric Decker's gone. So it's been kind of a reboot for that offense. It's not been pretty. September was not a great month for the Broncos offense.
No, not their offense, but the defense looked much better than last year's, or at least somewhat better. And I mean, that's what they really needed. If we're making the argument that you need to be a complete squad to get deep into the postseason, then I would say this year's batch looks better than last year's for the Broncos.
Even in the AFC picture, man, I look at the Broncos as being a beatable team. They're a good team, but when I look at the AFC playoff picture, I really think it comes down to 6 teams right now. I don't see a lot of possibilities for dark horses outside of these 6 teams making the playoffs.
All right, let's hear them.
Let's
hear them.
I'd be shocked if
do I care?
The Patriots did not win the AFC East. Most people would. I'm rooting for the Jets. You know me, I have a man crush on Geno Smith, and yet he's not.
I actually, you know what? Was it last Monday they finally had a national game?
Yeah.
I liked him. I'll be honest. A lot of people walked out of that saying he sucked. Compared to last year, he's way better.
He's way better than last year.
Improved, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not getting it in the end zone. So I really hope they give him a chance to turn it around. Otherwise, I guess they can bring in Vic and then have the disappointment in the playoffs once again. But I really think Geno's the guy that would take him further in the playoffs, is my view. So they should just stick with him. Anyway, Patriots look like the favorite in there.
I don't know who's making the argument that they aren't. I mean, maybe week 1.
I've been fighting for the Jets taking that division, but
it ain't happening. It ain't happening. They're 1-3. Fucking Miami had to play the Raiders for Tannehill to look good. And what happened? The Bills win or lose yesterday? I don't remember. They lost. Okay.
They're back to being the Bills.
Yeah, EJ Manuel looks like shit.
He's looking a little better than last year too. But you go to the AFC North, you got 2 really good teams in that division. I think the Ravens and the Bengals are looking primed to really compete with the Broncos right now. I can't put New England in that category right now. They haven't really looked good yet. So September was not a good month for New England either.
Fuck. I know the Bengals are like sitting unbeaten, and the defense is good, but god damn, Marvin Lewis loves to lose. And Andy Dalton is a fucking carrot-headed idiot. He loves to lose as well. So never count them two in.
No, I'm not going to say that they're going to make the Super Bowl, but they'd be my favorite right now. I just go out there and say, why not?
They could 0-6 Chargers this thing. They could march in 14-2 and just drop their first game in the postseason.
You know who I really want to see in the AFC Championship game, who seems poised to make it to the playoffs, at least as a wild card? The Chargers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Asia Carrera in her prime. I miss her. She's now a big fat alcoholic. It's very sad.
So, yeah, I think they're the second wild card. The other going to the AFC North, probably Baltimore if they're unable to catch up with Cincinnati. But the sixth team out of the AFC is going to be Indianapolis. Houston's got a 1-game lead at the moment at the end of September, but that's not a good team in Texas. So,
if you want to know how retarded I am, I was like, why is he picking 6? That's rather arbitrary, but it's coincidentally the number of teams that enter the postseason.
Yeah, no, I'm really down on this season, not just for the off the field stuff, but looking at the on field action. There's not a lot of reasons to be excited if you're outside those 6 teams.
Even
in the
the
AFC.
hot teams have taken a beating already.
Yeah, and I have a hard time looking outside the NFC West for a team that could beat Seattle. That's what's I hate it, man, because like at this stage, I think the Detroit Lions of all teams have shown the ability to play on defense with the ability to move the ball on offense, to like hang in a game in the playoffs with Seattle. Nobody else has both sides of the ball. It's sad, man. It's sad.
I wish I could mount an argument against that, but I can't.
I'm so tired of like the poor quality of play at this point. I'm cutting out Thursday night games because they're garbage right now. You know, it's just not worth watching. So the NFL is at an all-time low.
They need to do a better job scheduling. They need to figure out a way to try to get the majority of these coming off a bye. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
it's
it's idiotic because that's how college works. College Thursday night existed long before the NFL tried to jump into that market. And every team that plays in college on a Thursday night has the weekend off beforehand. And that is why you get these great primetime Thursday night games in college. We had another great one. It was Oklahoma State, Texas Tech this week. Way better to watch than the garbage you had on your TV. I'll tell you that.
I'm not going to mount an argument against that. I don't do a ton of college watching, but a lot of the Thursday night product. I know there was a thread on Reddit saying that over 4 games, I want to say the total score differential was something off the top of my head is like maybe 157-60 or something like that. There's been one non-blowout. What was the one Thursday night game?
It was still a beating because the Steelers scored 6 points. It was a 20-point loss.
Okay, yeah. That one was semi-watchable.
The reason they scored 6 points
Ravens
was not
Steelers,
simply the quality of the Ravens defense. You know, it's really hard to watch when the Steelers just blow. And that's what they did that night. All
right. Well, later we're going to edit in at this point our interview with the fan in focus this week, our buddy Original Nixter, a Giants fan.
You really got to work on that transition.
No, I like keeping it real. We don't need to make it seamless.
All right.
Yeah, people. Guess what, people? Sometimes we insert stuff after the fact. But
I love studio magic, man.
Anyway, you know what? Use the studio magic and chop that shit out too. Really difficult. See.
All right.
All right. Let's get then to the upcoming slate of games. Week 5. I mean, if you're not pumped for the Thursday night stuff, I don't know. Even if you were on board, Vikings at Packers.
I have a working hypothesis.
No,
first year.
All right,
coaches.
Mr. Scientific Method.
First year coaches, like I said earlier.
Sir
in the
Francis
show.
Bacon in the studio. Get on with it.
But if you're a first year coach, you're gonna have a tougher time getting your team ready on a short week than a veteran coach. So
Mike McCarthy's a slam dunk here then.
I think it's gonna be another blowout, and we'll see if that's disproven this week. But I really look at this week and next week. I know Houston is playing. I don't know who they're playing, but Houston is playing the following week, and you have Bill O'Brien coming in with a new system to Houston. I don't think he's going to do very well in the short week either. So I don't watch the next 2 Thursday night games. Let the NFL prove to you that it deserves our attention on Thursday nights. Because right now, we're all just fed up with it, I feel.
The problem is there's nothing against it, dude. This is not 1992. I can't flip to Seinfeld or In Living Color.
No, just watch college football, man. This is what I'm saying. Like, I keep trying to get you to watch college games. Like, I'm telling you, this is like the one night of the week where the college game will look better than the pros because There's nothing about playing on a Thursday that's anything like postseason football. I have no idea why they have these exhibitions on Thursday nights, because it's nothing like the teams that you would ever see if they played on a normal Sunday. You just don't get those two teams.
I mean, I was on board with your argument for a long time, actually, just out of sheer laziness, because I didn't want to pay for the NFL Network to get the Thursday night games. And yeah, I never really thought they were a good contest to begin with. They weren't for a long time. Like, they would start to put some divisional shit in it, but that was about it. It was usually divisions I didn't care about. You know, I can't have a dog in all 8. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, especially like 2012, I remember one time I watched like Rams at Cardinals, and I think it was like right before the wheels came off. You remember the Cards that year? They were like 4-0, and everyone was like, holy shit. And then they went fucking 1-11 for their final 12. Goddamn insane. I think I remember watching that. And I was like, wow, this is the quality of game I'm going to get. Fuck this. And I tapped out. But now that it's on CBS and they do such a good job with the production, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. But I can't argue much, especially given what I've seen so far.
I don't know. I'd say, like, skip the sports bar, find a place where women hang out. That's what I would say. Like, it's just not worth your time on a Thursday night, man.
Well, I'm now able to watch it at home. But even then, I have not seen many good games. I really can't disagree with what you said. And if the reason is that it's Thursday night and it's not just a spate of bad luck, then that sucks. I want to like it, because with Thursday night, you've got 2 nights max without football. You got Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturday. That's it.
Well, I'm looking at the schedule right now for the 1:00 games on Sunday. And really, to me, the only game that's worth watching, I'm just so down on the NFL right now. I want to see the Ravens play the Colts. Like, those are 2 playoff-worthy teams.
Oh, see, I've got a couple others at 1 that I think are interesting. Texas at Dallas, just because I want to see Dallas lose. I'm praying.
It will help us to understand how good the Texans are and how bad the NFC East is. I mean, that's kind
of how I'm looking at it. Also, J.J. Watt playing his fucking steroid man tits off. He is insane right now.
Do you really like what else at 1 do you really want to watch?
Atlanta at Giants.
Oh no, man. I mean,
I'll watch a battle of the shit.
It'll be high octane. There should be a lot of scoring.
Yeah, I'll watch that, man.
Yeah, I mean,
4 p.m. There's a really good one at 4. I'll let you.
We talked about that one already, man. I mean, let's see what the Cardinals and Broncos can do. Let's see if they can make us excited to watch football again, man.
They've got me. Until they lose me in that game, they've got me. 8 p.m. You've got Bengals at Patriots.
Hey, man.
What?
Geno and the Jets are going to play the Chargers, man. Geno's a wild card. It's actually fun to watch him play right now.
That's something I would have lumped in, and I was afraid you would just shit all over it. So I shut my app out of fear.
Nah, man. I mean, it's just
like a wife who's sick of getting slapped.
He adds a wild card to the game right now. It's fun. It's really fun. So I know he's not enjoying it, as he swears at fans walking.
That's like a Rex Grossman thing. Like, when is he going to throw his 2 picks? Will it be at the beginning, and then they'll be able to play out the rest of the game, or will it be at the end?
See,
and he'll
it's different, because
I
never looked at Rex Grossman as a guy who like hung in tough and like just played gritty. I never used the word gritty to describe Rex Grossman's play.
No, chubby, not gritty.
But now, like, Geno's he's got a lot of grit. I just really want to see him succeed, man. I don't know.
I'm not against him. Again, what I saw from one Monday night game, for whatever reason, I cannot hate the Jets. Maybe because they exist against the ultimate evils in that division. But I am rooting for him and his foot-sucking boss.
It's gotten boring enough, like, with some of the NFL stuff at the moment, that I've taken up to playing on DraftKings to stay somewhat interested in all the games.
Is that the one that I hear the ads for, and the guy from Detroit won like 600,000 playing it or some shit?
It's one of the 2. There's them and FanDuel are the 2 big ones. So I
think it's FanDuel.
I messed with it this weekend, and it helped, because otherwise I was pretty uninterested in a lot of stuff that was
like I said, I punched out. I watched Edge of Tomorrow. Treat yourself to that one.
Yeah.
I wish I could say they were a sponsor, and I had a DVD copy to give away. Nah, it's just watchable. You don't see Emily Blunt's tits, but she looks nice nonetheless.
Well, anyway, with my DraftKings lineup for this upcoming week, I'm just going to go heavy with the Seattle defense, Russell Wilson, and I'm just expecting a complete blowout of the Redskins on Monday night. So
I'm ready. I will not be drinking early, so that by the end of the first quarter, I will still have the energy to get my fat ass to the gym and actually exercise that night. I am not counting on much out of that Monday night game. If God if the Redskins win, I will be marching around fully turgid for the rest of the week. It'll just be me in a jersey and no pants.
The line right
just
now
wearing
is,
a bath towel. I don't want to get arrested.
Okay, so this is in Washington. The line is Seattle by 7.5.
Fuck. Oh, that's bad.
Team traveling from the West Coast.
I don't know the last time I saw a line like that at home, period, much less someone coming from the West to go east.
That's just brutal.
That is fucking bad. That is bad.
My only question is, will the Seattle defense score multiple touchdowns?
Probably yes. Probably yes.
They'll at least put Russell Wilson and the offense, in a couple nice goal line situations.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Even it could be the fucking Cowboys, and I would be rooting against Seattle at this point. But the Redskins, yeah, I want nothing more than to see them triumph. But I don't know how. Yeah, you don't watch The Simpsons, do you?
No.
All right, there's an episode where Homer's a boxer. Because why not? Because why the fuck not? He's been an astronaut. He's been a boxer. He can do everything. He ran the nuclear, whatever. I know how to say it. He ran the power plant for a time. And they do an exercise where he's going up against heavyweight Drederick Tatum, if I recall the name correctly. And they're like, you need to visualize how you're going to win. And you see him then in the ring with his fist up. And the announcer's going, moments before the match was supposed to start, a congenital heart defect has felled Drederick Tatum. That's about how the Skins can win. If you're familiar with the movie We Are Marshall,
yes,
that will have to happen.
Jeez.
You're
a terrible person.
Yeah, that's about it.
And your team is terrible, and they deserve to lose.
They are.
They deserve to lose before, but even more now.
But like maybe if ISIS says like America, we will strike at you using America's team, because they don't really understand football, so they just took the last Super Bowl winner instead of the Cowboys or the Pats, and then they just like fly it into something. Skins would win that.
You're so desperate right now.
Yeah, dude, you got to visualize.
Hey, let's go back to Cousins, because everybody keeps pimping him out. Like, oh, well, 1 week we're gonna say he's gonna replace RG3. The next week he's barely even worthy of being a backup.
That's what it is to be into the NFL.
Let's just go back to the bottom line of what he's got to do to keep the job. Right now, on his clock, they're 1-2. If RG3's out 8 weeks, he has to have a winning record. And it looks like they're about to lose to Seattle. So if he's 1-3 after the Seattle game, he's really got to string together 4 wins in a row, I think. And I don't know who the upcoming opponents are for the Redskins, but it's looking pretty tough for Kirk Cousins to win that job.
Who are they playing? I take it they're doing the AFC South this year? I mean, there isn't a shittier division, but they already lost one of the games.
Yeah. So I don't know when they're going to play Indianapolis, but
probably a loss.
I don't know, man. I'm not big on Indianapolis at this point. I think they're a very beatable team.
Who's left? They already did the Jags.
Well, like between now and the bye week. So let's say RG3 is ready after the bye in week 10. You've got after Seattle, you're going to play Arizona.
Yay!
Tennessee.
So that means they have the NFC West and the AFC South this year.
Yeah. Dallas and Minnesota.
Well, I think Minnesota's shit.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
I hope.
The same can be said of your current starting quarterback.
Don't get me. Yeah. Look, it's not good. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's just bad.
I want you to say that you're going to talk about other things besides the fucking Redskins on this show. How about that? Can we talk about other teams?
What the fuck? We did like 20% Redskins or something. What do you want, man?
20% too many, in my opinion.
They've been a story for all the wrong reasons. It's not like I'm going hardcore Raiders talk right now.
Yeah, you can give RG3 that much credit. At least he made you guys a relevant national story. Because before that, I was so tired of just hearing people trying to make the Redskins relevant. So,
I mean, they kind of were, but for completely off the field shit, like Hainsworth.
No, they were just irrelevant, man. Period. They were just irrelevant.
On the field, yes.
Period.
On the field, yes. I think Dan Snyder is a perpetual horse's ass. It's like saying the Raiders are completely irrelevant while Skeletor owned them. I mean, it was always funny seeing what the fuck that guy came up with.
We still need to watch that South Park episode. Have you seen it yet?
Nah, I've kind of tapped out on South Park.
Yeah, I mean, I want to check that one.
The Redskins episode.
Yeah, people got up like we didn't talk about last week when the South Park commercial was aired.
During the Eagles game. Yeah.
I just think that's funny because I'm like, who at home? Basically, either you're in a bar and you just are forced to watch commercials, or B, you're like me and you sit at home and you do things before the game starts. You basically put on a record and then let it play out a bit before you start watching, so you can skip halftime and commercials. I don't watch commercials when I watch like NFL games.
God, you're like Rich, my buddy Rich that I watch games with, and he's like, "Let's just wait a bit." Fuck you, it's live. That's the magic. I want to see it.
Even when I watch live at home, because I do watch a lot at home live, but I'll just walk around, man. I got better shit to do than watch commercials.
I don't. I'll watch them.
I
I'm gonna hear my 100th airing of Peyton singing shit to the Nationwide theme.
Oh, that commercial kills me.
Nothing's like that new car smell. You know, the worst thing, if you watch Monday night on like streaming it through an ESPN app, which I do, I watch it on my Xbox, they have like 4 commercials. It's the same commercial twice in one block a lot of times.
Brutal.
Oh my God. I've heard that Peyton one a trillion times, man. Conservatively speaking. That is a very, very low estimate. Are we good? Howard, we covered everything?
I think so, man. Yeah, we'll be back next week then, and we'll talk more about hopefully better games than we saw in September.
Yeah, folks, this was Papa's Football Podcast, hosted at pfpod.com. I'm John Papa Giorgio. He is Howard Lucas Flood. You want to see me tweet during games? I tend to do that a lot, especially the Redskins games. It's at Papa's Basement. Also do the inpapasbasement.com show. If you do iTunes or Stitcher, look up both Papa's Basement and Papa's Football Podcast. You can subscribe to us, give us a nice rating, all that happy shit. And last but not least, I do the Spookies comic, hosted at, you guessed it, thespookiescomic.com. Yes, Howard.
We should let people know that our website exists. And yeah,
I said
we
pfpod.com.
occasionally post playoff power rankings for the folks to actually consider who really matters in the NFL.
pfpod.com, pfpod.com, pfpod.com.